The Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni situation is insane, and I'm not even exaggerating. Hello you gorgeous donuts. So, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni are all beefing each other at the minute, and we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna break down the entire thing for you. I'm gonna give you a structured timeline, because honestly, this thing is like a minefield. So for the people that don't know who these three people are, they're all actors and actresses. Ryan Reynolds plays Deadpool. He's like one of the biggest actors in the world. Blake Lively is one of the biggest actresses in the world. She's played in Gossip Girl. And Justin Baldoni has been in the Garfield movie. Is there any other accomplishment you need in the world? This all started on the 9th of August 2024 when a movie called It Ends With Us is released. This movie is based on the book by Colleen Hoover, and the movie explores themes of domestic violence and abuse, etc., but is still labelled as a romance film. And the two main characters in this movie are Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I believe Justin Baldoni is also the director of the film. Now, this movie was a huge success. It made a huge profit at the box office. It apparently had a budget of only 25 million, I say only, and it made 350 million worldwide. That's insane. That's more than 100% profit. That's an insane profit margin right there. Clearly people liked this movie. It was actually the top grossing romance movie since A Star Is Born, which is one of my favourite movies ever. I cry every time. However, rumours started circulating that Justin and Blake didn't really get on behind the scenes. It says here that internet sleuths, for some reason, the media call just people internet sleuths, people that just are a little bit too involved in people's drama. I guess I would be an internet sleuth anyway. Noticed that the stars do not follow each other on social media, with many of the film's cast following Lively, but not Baldoni. Hoover also notably keeps her distance from Baldoni. Mr. Baldoni, what's happened? Is there a few skeletons in your closet, sir? Apparently Baldoni said a lot of inappropriate comments. Apparently he was kissing for too long during scenes. It must be so weird being an actor or an actress and having to kiss another man even though yous are both married. There's also been rumours online that the rift has been caused by Lively and her Deadpool and Wolverine husband Ryan Reynolds being too involved with the film. Now we're going to get on later in this video a series of Instagram stories someone very high profile has made about Ryan Reynolds, which honestly will shock you. And Baldoni actually hired a crisis management team to handle his PR for him because he felt personally attacked by all of these accusations. And it was at this point a lot of weird stuff was coming out around this film. A lot of Blake Lively's previous interviews were cropping up, especially this one where Kirsty Flaw, the interviewer, actually said she wanted to quit interviewing after this.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
They are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's just the overall vibe in this interview is them two are kind of just talking without even involving the interviewer. They're kind of not even acting like she's even there. Every time she butts in, they kind of just take the out of her. It's a very weird vibe. It's kind of mean girly in a way. And I believe the interviewer actually had issues with conceiving a child as well, which just adds to this not being very nice overall. Now, despite Justin Baldoni falling out with both Blake and Ryan Reynolds at this point, he actually won an award at the Vital Voices ceremony, where it's basically an award for him helping women in media, which obviously contrasts with the rumours that Blake is kind of circulating about him. Now, shortly after this, Blake Lively actually filed a lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, alleging SA and also toxic workplace environment, which is just a huge thing to say about someone, a huge claim, especially regarding the nature of the film. The nature of the film covers some really deep issues surrounding domestic violence, SA, etc. So the fact that the actual director and the star in this show is doing this in real life possibly as well. It says here that Blake had a number of requirements in order for her to work on the film. No more showing nude videos or images of women to Blake, no more mention of Baldoni's alleged previous pornographic addiction, no more discussions about sexual conquests in front of Blake and others, no further mention of cast and crew's genitalia, no more inquiries about Blake's weight. Surely all of these things are a given. If you're decent people, you just don't bring up any of these things, especially when you're working together in a non-private environment. This is a workplace environment here. It says here as well, additionally, there were no more adding of scenes, also on-camera outside of the scope of the script. Surely that is like a given. Again, now because the internet was kind of turning on Blake Lively at this point, the lawyer of Justin Baldoni kind of fed into this and said that the entire lawsuit was brought about to kind of try and salvage her image. And apparently at this point, Blake Lively was like refusing to turn up to set after these allegations were like made public. The lawyer also said that Blake Lively was like proceeding to threaten not to promote the film like after all of this was happening. And it is crazy how this entire situation, like the root of it is Blake Lively coming forward about her experiences of, you know, feeling used by people in a position of power. And I know a lot of people have been combating her claims by saying, oh well, she's not a good person, she's lied about this, she's done this, she's done this. But one thing I will say is people can be, you know, like bad people in a way, but still be telling the truth about these sort of allegations. Like just because you're a bad person doesn't mean you're lying about that also. So she clearly felt a certain way about this. And at this point, I believe that people obviously were on Blake Lively's side. Like she comes out about this, especially with the nature of the film, people are just going to believe her, because why would she make something like this up? It has been reported that at this point Justin was like trying to create a smear campaign against Blake to kind of devalue what she's came forward with. There's like text messages etc that have been released. He then got dropped by his management agency WME, who also happen to manage both Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. And people have also mentioned they managed Taylor Swift, who was also a really close friend of Blake Lively. And apparently these three were like pushing for the label to kind of drop Justin Baldoni. Whether that's true, I don't know. And loads of celebrities were coming out in support of Blake at this point. Like the narrative around her definitely was shifting in a certain way. Colleen Hoover, the author of the book that was then turned into the movie, was on our side. She posted a story saying, Blake Lively, you have been nothing but honest, kind, supportive and patient since the day we met. Thank you for being exactly the human that you are. Never change, never will. Like if everybody on set is like in support of someone, like us as the audience, that just triggers in our mind that clearly she must be telling the truth about all of this. Gwyneth Paltrow came out in support of her. Amy Schumer, I don't know how much like weight Amy Schumer being on your side is. You'd probably want her against you if anything. And because of this, on Christmas Eve, the award that Justin Baldoni had received in aid of helping women was actually revoked from him, definitely getting calling his stock and if Santa was a woman. And around Christmas Day, the co-host of his show actually left the show. So at this point, basically his entire life has fallen apart. Like everything he'd worked for has been taken away from him because of this, because of his actions. Even Ryan Reynolds posted a story after Christmas kind of hinting that him and Blake were going through a difficult time because of all of this. I'm matching any donation to 500k. This organisation is a sanctuary for so many kids and their parents. Thank you for directing this amazing little piece during a time I really didn't feel like putting the suit on. So clearly, like, if Blake Lively is like going through all of this stress that she's saying she's going through, like her husband Ryan is also going to be like, you know, going through that as well. Now, as the clock struck 12 on New Year's Eve to go into 2025, it started with a bang as Justin Baldoni actually sued the New York Times for $250 million. He claims Ryan Reynolds aggressively berated him. Now this is where everything starts to turn. Justin Baldoni claims that the Times cherry-picked and altered communications stripped of necessary context and deliberately spliced to mislead. He claims he was aggressively berated by Reynolds after Baldoni, who suffers from back problems, asked Lively how much she weighed before he lifted her to ensure he could safely perform the lift without injury. Okay. I mean, if it was me, I'd just try and work out a BMI just on the fly. Just, can I, yeah, well, we'll try it. Now, we didn't even, like, progress a day, and Blake Lively decided to officially sue Justin Baldoni. It said here that she believes that Justin Baldoni and his PR team were organising a sophisticated scheme to undermine her reputation in retaliation for speaking up about alleged misconduct on set. So she is basically saying, I refuse to be silenced. You know what? Have a sue. Go on, see how you deal with this, Sue. I feel like when you sue someone, you should actually, like, just send them somebody called Sue who's really angry just to kind of shout at them. That would be really aggressive, and I'm kind of here for that tactic. Now, on the 17th of January, Justin Baldoni said, you know what, I'm going to clap back, biatch. And he countersued Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for $400 million. That's nearly $500 million. What? How do they get to these figures? It's insane. He claims that both of them have tried to destroy his reputation. It said here, defamation, false light invasion of privacy, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, This is just a lot of big words that honestly I don't really understand. But the overall gist of it is he believes that they're out to destroy him for some reason. Now I believe at this point text messages were leaked where Blake Lively had kind of altered them, and then Justin Baldoni had posted the text messages that were unaltered, and it created like a different story. Now Blake Lively actually responded to this. I have the quote here. "This is an age-old story. A woman speaks up with concrete evidence of sexual harassment and retaliation, and the abuser attempts to turn the tables on her victim. This is what experts call DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender." This is just insane because what the movie is about, like, it's running alongside the same themes that they're suing each other for. It's ridiculous. Now Blake Lively and her team have previously mentioned like a lot of things, like that Justin Baldoni would kiss longer than he was supposed to, that he was promoting like a weird kind of vibe on set. Now Baldoni actually released, I think it was like a 7 or 8 minute raw video of like an intimate scene between the two. Now as you can see here, they're both like really close. Obviously they're acting, but the way they're speaking, like they don't seem like two people that don't like each other. Like the way that they're acting, they've got chemistry on screen. And there's even a part where Blake Lively is like trying to create more romance, and she has suggestions to make it more intimate between the two. Make of that what you will. But one thing I will say is, like, me as Blake Lively's husband, like if I was, clearly I'm not, but like it must be difficult to like watch like your partner have like such a good on-screen relationship with like another person, especially when it's an intimate movie like this one. And clearly Ryan Reynolds did not like what was going on here. He like felt like a bit insecure, possibly, because I know that Ryan Reynolds, I believe he fell in love with Blake Lively and his previous partner Scarlett Johansson, both on set or around a movie set. So he already knows that this sort of thing can develop from being in a movie together. And this is where Ryan Reynolds starts to come under the microscope. And honestly, when I've like seen some of this stuff, it actually has kind of made us think of Ryan Reynolds in a different light. I was a huge fan of him before this. Like, Deadpool is like one of my favourite characters ever. Now, a famous person in America by the name of Candace Owens actually released a series of Instagram stories where she says that she's had insider information about the whole situation, and I'm going to take you through them, so brace yourselves. This person is alleging that everything started when Ryan Reynolds decided to stroll onto the movie set one day and review the dailies. This is an industry term for all the footage that they filmed for the day. Now already that is a little bit strange that Ryan Reynolds, who's not involved in this movie, like is requesting to see the daily footage. Like clearly he is feeling a certain way about what's going on here. This person claims, and I cannot verify, that the production assistants then overheard Ryan and Blake having an argument in their trailer. Ryan Reynolds started being on the set on a regular basis as if he were her chaperone, and that is when he started inserting himself into the actual production, including writing lines. Which again is just a little bit weird. Like, why is he involving himself in this? I do get it from the point of view that if Blake is coming home and telling them that, you know, that I'm getting like assaulted at work, he's gonna want to be there to make sure that that's not going on. Like, I would want to do that as a husband, but like involving yourself in the actual production, like, that's a little odd to me. The next part is what has been alleged via their lawsuits. It's clear Ryan was determined to humiliate and win against Justin Baldoni. He went so far as to include lines in his separate movie Deadpool and Wolverine about having an intimacy coordinator on set and making fun of Justin Baldoni's feminism and his podcast. This is what Justin's team is alleging. Again, everything in this video is like alleging. It's not facts. It's just, I'm just trying to update you on the situation. I'm just trying to put this mess in a timeline for you. It's us or it's him. Paraphrasing Ryan's alleged ultimatum to WME. So it was a him, Blake Lively, and oh, did we mention our bestie Taylor Swift sort of situation? Allegedly. This person is like terrified of getting sued. The source for this is a different source that would definitely know. My source says that Justin Baldoni is legitimately a good guy who truly wanted to do this project, but he cares deeply about women's issues. Candace then posts an article where Scarlett Johansson basically said the reason why she believed her and Ryan Reynolds split up. There has to be a real understanding of how you share your time, especially when two people's careers are going at the same rate, or even if one person is more successful than the other. This also proves challenging. There may be a competitive thing. And she basically alludes in this article that, you know, them two may have split up because Ryan Reynolds was jealous of her success. I have no idea. This is all theories. Like, you can't prove this is fact. Only them two will know this. And this person, Candace Owens, is really going at Ryan Reynolds at this point. She said, final thoughts, I think Ryan Reynolds is unhinged. I think Blake was fine with everything in the movie she signed on for, hence not requesting an intimacy coordinator. And then all that changed the day her husband showed up to set and allegedly blew a fuse. So he tried to peacock Justin Baldoni, who is objectively more attractive than Ryan. I mean, you don't really need to say that, do you? By injecting himself into every layer of the movie, from the script to the promos, and reminding Justin who the A-lister is. That is why Ryan was there every step of the way, and I sense it was him that demanded Justin be put in the basement for the premiere. What do you mean he was put in the basement for the premiere? Candace Owens is basically theorising that the entire situation has been spiralled out of control, and at the centre of it is small man Ryan Reynolds with a fragile ego. This person really despises Ryan Reynolds. Now, obviously, this is all just from Candace Owens' source, who she trusts, but it does paint Ryan Reynolds in a little bit of a different light to what he shows to the public. It kind of shows that he's insecure, but, like, to me, and I know, like, he is obviously just a human, but why would that man ever be insecure of anyone? The man's literally Deadpool. But clearly, you know, he felt a certain way about this. Honestly, in this situation, I don't feel like anybody is a nice person. That's the one thing I've kind of, like, evaluated from this. It seems like everyone is in the wrong in some way. And when somebody comes under the microscope and, like, gets cancelled, then every single person that has ever said a bad thing also gets brought up about him. And I remember this interview from TJ Miller, who was a co-star on Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds, actually said this on a podcast ages ago, which has now been brought back up.
Would I work with him again? No. Really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, let's do one more take. And everyone was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me. But to me.
Cathartic.
As if I'm Weasel.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So he was like, you know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. But you just, you know, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie.
So he's riffing. TJ believes that maybe Ryan's insecurities are the reason he bullied him.
You know, I think he's kind of an insecure dude. He's really nice, but I mean, his Twitter bio is showing you the parts of me that tested the best in focus groups. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that he's joking.
Now that is interesting because obviously I imagine nobody watching this video has spent any time with Ryan Reynolds. So like when you're trying to discover what type of person somebody is, you kind of have to just go off what people who've been around him, and this guy has been in 2 movies with him. Although I don't think you can really read into his Twitter bio. Like, you know, that's a bit of like a stretch in my opinion. Now a lot of people have been kind of alluding to the fact that this could be a smear campaign against Justin Baldoni, and a few people are feeling really sorry for Justin Baldoni in this situation. And a lot of people are blaming Blake Lively for this because she's the one that's filed the lawsuit against him and saying all of these claims. However, Blake Lively obviously feels a certain way about this, and she's going through a lot of distress. And it's interesting that no one is kind of looking at Ryan Reynolds as the, you know, potential instigator of this, because he's exhibiting quite controlling behaviour throughout this situation, it can be said. Like, nobody really knows, but there is potential from what we've seen that Ryan Reynolds could be the one driving the narrative here. He could even be the one that's like behind the lawsuit and everything. Obviously Blake would confide in Ryan, so you don't know if Ryan is kind of like pushing Blake to kind of sue Justin Baldoni because of various things, like he doesn't like him, or nobody really knows, but that is a potential thing that could be going on here. But the fact that he claimed that he was insecure, like this was like years ago, and then it's been brought back up that possibly he is insecure and this is the reason why he was trying to change everything on set, it does feed into that narrative. But I'm just totally lost here, honestly. Like, I've spent hours, and I mean hours, researching this, trying to put stuff in a timeline, and I feel like I'm just not really any further forward into discovering like the actually what's going on here. There's so many theories, so many stories, and it's a lot of it is just misinformation. I have no idea what to think about these people. It just makes me think they're all bad. Justin Baldoni's mother actually posted about Justin on his birthday. She basically just kind of says what a great person he is, and says, as you keep your integrity through it all, justice and truth will shine today and into eternity. Love you more than you will ever know. So clearly, you know, she's in support of her son. She believes her son is completely in the right here, but like, like, what do you think? Like, I don't know if you've done your own research of just what I've showed you in this video. What's your opinion? Because I'm so interested in this situation, because it's just such a weird connection between the topics discussed in the movie and what's being alleged outside of the movie. Like, Justin Baldoni is married and has kids, and both Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are married to each other. Like, why would Ryan Reynolds be insecure of this guy? Like, they're just acting, you know, like, he knows the kind of scene. The only way that I can kind of suffice in me mind that would confirm why he's changing all of these things, because he's trying to take down Justin Baldoni, is because he knows that people can kind of get together when they've acted in a movie together. That's the only way I can kind of see it. And surely, you know, for Blake Lively to file an actual lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, alleging the things she has, like, these things must have happened. Like, if she's just thrown that comment away, then that's not got as much weight as what a lawsuit does. But also, why would Justin Baldoni, like, you know, to create this toxic work environment when the entire film is exploring these themes? All of these people, what are you doing, man? One thing it has really proven to me is Hollywood celebrities, especially really, really big ones, kind of just show you what they want to show you. They show you the best version of themselves. They don't show you the bad bits, and when the bad bits come to the light, they just make them seem extra worse because they've all got such a clean-cut image. Now, one thing that has recently dropped in the last day is a 2 a.m. voice note that Justin Baldoni sent to Blake Lively, and we're going to react to it.
It is 2 in the morning. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow, there's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just going to send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not going to be more than a few minutes. But that I don't have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for our voice memos. I want to start with an apology. Man,
Why does this sound like he's acting? This doesn't sound like an actual human. Like, I know he's an actor, so he probably just kind of speaks in kind of like a poetic way anyway, but this just seems like it's not like an actual person talking.
I for sure fell short, and you worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it, and how that made you feel. I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel and share that with me. And I'm really sorry. I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I'm a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And and I'm gonna f*** up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna piss you off probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you of.
As weird as it is to listen to, it seems like he's taken some accountability for him apparently wronging Blake Lively to whatever he's alluding to here. All of the comments are so interesting because they're all saying that Blake Lively caught feelings and basically was annoyed when Justin kind of rejected her in a way. Like, the theories around this are just absolutely mental. Like, there's just so many opinions on this. It's like no opinion can be right because there's just so many of them.
I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That must have felt terrible. And I will for sure do better. That was not my best weekend, and I should have given it more time. And damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that. And we should all have friends like that, aside from the fact that they're two of the most creative people on the planet. The three of you guys together is unbelievable. Talk about energy and just a force, all three of you. But I just wanted you to know that I didn't need that, because it's really good and it's gonna make the movie sing like you said, and I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. I'm just excited to spend time with you.
It's very interesting because he is very vague here, and you know, these people are insanely smart. They always like cover their backs, so he knows that he doesn't want to bring up anything specific in this voice note, but it does seem like he's overly apologetic towards Blake. I think he feels bad during this. It seems like he does. One thing I do find really interesting is like all the comments are basically saying that Blake Lively's lying. It's like nobody apart from them knows for sure. But why are you instantly like disregarding what she's saying, like as if you know it as like a fact? Like this comment, does this sound like someone that was S.A. her? This is ridiculous. How can you tell? How could you tell? You can't tell anything from a voice note. How do you know for sure? It's so weird that people feel like they have like a... Like, I don't even know. You don't know. Unless Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, or Justin Baldoni is watching this. They're the only people that know. Oh, God, man. I don't mind people having opinions on it, but it's just when people talk as if their opinion is fact. That's the one thing that I just think is just wild. I just want to finish this video just by kind of bringing it back to Blake's perspective. It ends with Us by Colleen Hoover. It was obviously such an important book, and Blake did such a great job of bringing this film to life by like how she acted in it. And I just hope like her overall mental state is good, because the stuff that she's came forward with and then the overall reaction, like that can't be a nice mental space to be in, especially with all the rumors circulating about her husband Ryan, and people are kind of like scrutinizing every little thing about the relationship that's happened in the past. She must be really kind of feeling down about this right now. And whatever you think of the accusations and the lawsuits that have been going both ways, this situation is definitely going to have a hindrance on, you know, women coming forward in the future, in my opinion, about the stuff that they go through. Because of the nature of the film and how important the film is, I can't see any like world where she would lie about this, and I feel like it's really sad that the reaction from the public is just instantly kind of dismissed her because there might be a few holes in our story. So yeah, let me know what you think on this situation. Obviously I didn't really want to take any sides in this, but I wanted to be empathetic in parts that I felt like I needed to be empathetic in. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one, donors. If you want to watch another video from me, click this one here. Go on, do it.
Kirkham, baby.